G'day, I hope you're starting this year off right. This lesson is for Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran. Now once we have the kick drums locked in, we're going to add a couple of tom patterns over the top and maybe a few cymbal rolls as well, but this song should come together pretty quickly, so let's hop on the kit and check it out. Apart from the really obvious 4 on the floor kick drum that goes throughout just about the entire song, the rest of the drums are really subtle, so they're not very forward in the mix and that makes them a bit tricky to work out. But I've done my best to grab as many different things as I can, and hopefully there's something that is helpful to you so that you'll be able to play along with the song. So anyway, I'm going to add floor toms playing quarter notes along with the kick drum. I can't tell for sure if it's in there, but it just makes it a little bit more fun to play and fills out the sound a little bit. So when the drums first come in, we'll just be playing this. The next bit for us to worry about is the pre-chorus, and we're going to keep the kick drum playing 4 on the floor, but we're going to add some rhythms over the top with the floor tom and the first rack tom. Now I'll play it through slowly and then I'll play it up to speed, but basically if you don't catch the whole thing first time through, that doesn't matter. If you get the gist of it, I think it will sound really cool when you play along with the song. So anyway, first time through. Once again, in terms of the subtlety of the drums, not all of those hits are exactly the same volume. So just use your ears and see which ones kind of stick out a bit more to you and which ones are a little bit more quiet. As I said, you can play just about whatever you want, but just use this as a guide to get you up and running. Now I'll play it up to speed. So we have that little break and then we are into our chorus. If you want, you could add a cymbal roll. But you could also leave that cymbal out because I think it was definitely overdubbed. Now the chorus feels like it wants to build up, but in terms of the drums, it doesn't really at all. We're going to keep that kick drum playing 4 on the floor, and because I like the sound, add the floor tom over the top as well. At the end of the chorus, we have this tiny little fill. Then we have a short break where it's just guitar, and then we're into verse 2. And I think I can hear hi-hats. It could just be strumming from the acoustic guitar, but I definitely think the hi-hat sounds pretty good. So we're going to accent the quarter note, but play 16th notes, and keep the quarter note going on the kick drum as well. So that's verse 2. Once again, really subtle, so don't lay into those hi-hats too much. Keep them nice and quiet and just kind of tuck them into the background. Then we go into our pre-chorus, which is much the same as we played the first time round, so that's the one with the rhythms over on the toms. And then we kick into our chorus again, which is once again just the same. And then at the end of that, we have this fill going into kind of like a post-chorus section, I guess. So the fill sounds like this. And then into this post-chorus section, we're going to pinch some similar rhythms from the pre-chorus. That section comes off on the art of 4, which is a little bit tricky to catch, but I'm sure you'll be able to grab it. And then we move into our bridge, where we're just going to play kick drums 4 on the floor without any floor tom. But every now and again on beat 1, there are some big concert tom or timpani hits. So you'll be able to hear those and just play those on your toms, make them nice and loud. And then there are some cymbal rolls as well, just a few here and there. So keep your ears out for those, just to spice things up a tiny bit. Then we drop out and there's no drums, and we're going to build it back up with this fill going into our outro. And now we are into our outro choruses. There's one fill that gets used a bunch of times, which is just 2 down each of the drums. and there are a couple of really quiet snare drums in there as well, I think. So this is what I've come up with, but once again, just use it as a guide, and then you'll be able to play whatever you want along to the song. So let me play the outro for you now. And there we go, that is how you play drums to Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran. As I said, just use this lesson as a guide because there is a little bit of stuff in there that's a bit tricky to kind of lock in, but grab the bits that sound good to you and then use them when you play along with the song and you'll be up and running in no time. So happy practicing, guys, and I'll catch you very soon at the next lesson.